Faze Clan. Wow, where do I start with this? It's kind of a sad day for people of Faze Clan and people who are inside Faze Clan. Now, if you don't know what Faze Clan is, let me run it down for you because, well, it's probably one of the most notable esports teams out there, but didn't really start off in the limelight of where it is now. It started off as sort of a humble beginning, like most sort of esports teams or clans, like Optic Gaming. They started off kind of small, humble, with a few people, and then it grew and grew and grew. And like most of these organizations, they do what I like to call and jobs do it as well. A lot of people do it. They do stupid sign-ins. They bring people on, they recruit people who they think are better than this and this, and it flops hard on them. So Faze Clan have decided to essentially nuke a huge chunk of their Faze members. Now, bearing in mind, most of these people are just, say, content creators and streamers. Essentially, they're just repping the name Faze for, well, as part of like a cool thing. You know, I'm a part of Faze type of shit, because, you know, being a part of Faze, especially back in the day, was a huge thing. It was even back then, I mean, it was probably one of the biggest Call of Duty organizations ever. You know, it was huge, and a lot of people wanted to be a part of Faze. And huge amounts of people tried out, and some people got in, some people didn't. It was mainly back then when Call of Duty was huge with trick-shotting. Call of Duty was fucking huge with trick-shotting. If you don't know what a trick shot is, it's essentially with a sniper rifle, and you spin around multiple times. Normally they turn their sensitivity up to a ludicrous amount, spin around, and sometimes no scope, which is not aiming down the scope, and they will shoot, and the bullet will obviously kill the person while they're spinning. And these were crazy. These were huge. Not just with Faze, these were huge things back in the day, and a load of people loved them. And that's, again, if you look back at Phases, if you go to their YouTube channel and just look back at their old videos, you'll see mountains, and I mean mountains of videos of, I mean, it's all over. Let me have a look. Yeah, you'll see mountains and mountains of videos of just content, of, you know, trick shots and stuff like this. You know, Faze Clan Minitage, Faze Clan Ilcams, you know, search and destroy videos. This was 13 years ago. Their first ever video was uploaded, all the way in 2010. You know, so this was kind of fucking crazy. You know, this was the beginning of, you know, something big, and a lot of people loved Faze. And again, Optic was huge back then, but this is kind of mainly about, it's mainly about Faze Clan. Either way, Faze Clan haven't exactly had the greatest reputation, would I say? I don't know what you really say, but it hasn't really had the greatest reputation, I guess, in the past few years. I know there was a bunch of beef and bunch of things with Faze Tfue, and, well, I think he left Faze, and there was a bunch of things with Faze Banks and stuff like that. Apparently they, like, were owned by some big corporate motherfuckers who was messing with Faze and fucking everything up. You know, they were doing all sorts of things that, you know, that Faze Banks didn't agree with. And, well, you know, they've bought it back. I think someone, was it Square Games or something? I can't remember who helped buy it. But someone helped Faze Banks buy back Faze, you know, bring it back to where it was, which is a good thing. It's cool to see Faze back in the hands of, you know, Faze Banks, and it's cool to see it's come back. I don't know the future of Faze at this moment. It's kind of crazy, to be honest, but going back and just looking at the FaZe Clan channel, you see all this crazy shit, introducing FaZe Temper, FaZe Recon, FaZe Temper. There's a bunch of these motherfuckers. I don't even think a lot of these actually are still playing. These were early day FaZe. This was like really, 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 really early day FaZe moments here. These were classic moments. And, well, to the point is, well, let's just get into the news, the awful news. So FaZe has decided to nuke a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of people. They've decided to scrap a bunch of people and freshen it up. Essentially, it's a reboot, a rebrand. They're clearing up the old. I don't know if they're going to add some new. Now, again, like Warzone, when Warzone was getting popular, FaZe decided to do something pretty stupid, in my opinion, and that was recruiting a bunch of people into FaZe that really shouldn't have been in FaZe. And I mean this like, there was a bunch of Warzone streamers who were added into FaZe, and I always think, why? Why did you need to add a bunch of new Warzone streamers? Don't be wrong, there was, a few streamers that definitely were like, yeah, they should be in FaZe. But there was a few streamers I'm like, why are these motherfuckers in here? Like, it's like they tried to get a bunch of creators from each different game, and they did. They tried to branch out with content creation. I mean, I get it. FaZe isn't really about that anymore. They aren't really about content creation like they used to be. Like, they used to be pumping content creation. They're not really doing that anymore. They don't really sort of care about that as much anymore as they used to. And that's understandable. They got to make profit. They got to make money now. It's a business. Back then, while it was still a business, it maybe wasn't as much as important, and they were just living in the moment and enjoying themselves. But now they've got to get down to grind and stuff like that. I've heard some things that apparently, if they're not pushing cryptocurrency and stuff like that, I know the owner now, FaZe Banks, is heavily into crypto. So I really hope he doesn't push that shit onto FaZe or anything like that. It's going to be a terrible thing. I feel sorry for some people who've been lamped off, to be honest with you, because it is a real big shame. Imagine you dedicate your time. You've been in this organization forever. Bearing in mind, most of these people didn't really get paid. They did it out of their passion for Call of Duty and their passion for, FaZe. And, you realise one morning waking up, let's make some more content. Oh, shit. Get the fuck out of here, little bitch. You ain't a part of FaZe anymore. So these are the people who are still in FaZe. Adapt, Apex, Banks, Jev, Keishan, Nick Merckx, Replays, Ronaldo, Rogue, Scope, Swag, Temper, Your Rage, Zuma. Everyone else is out. That is the roster. So essentially he's, nuked a good chunk of people. It seems like the people he's picked are the people either who have some really big affiliation with FaZe, either who have part ownership or something in FaZe, or they're pulling crazy views. They're pulling a decent amount of views, because let's be honest, a lot of these older, FaZe members, they weren't big. They were dying down, and as much as I don't want to really attack or get into that, they weren't pulling the views anymore, That's kind of what happens. Call of Duty doesn't really bring up views as good as it used to do. I remember Call of Duty used to really be racking views and views and views. It doesn't really. A lot of content creators within the Call of Duty space aren't pulling in crazy views like they used to. So I think that's what they've kind of done. They've said, you know what, we really need to be kind of making some money. We need to put more eyes on FaZe. Nick Merckx pulls at least a good 10 to 15k, views a stream. Most of them people, Faze Rug, he's pulling at least 1 million views a video. So in my eyes, I think that's what they've done. As much as they want to clear up the roster, and I know there were a lot of people in Faze that were like, there were definitely some good people in Faze. It seems like some people haven't really taken the news well, which is unfortunate to say, but I guess it's pretty understandable why they've taken the news like that. Imagine, one morning you wake up and, kind of part of your career or part of what you did. So Faze Callie, speaks up. She announces being kicked from Faze and feels very unhappy with the news. She goes on to say she wasn't getting paid but still wanted to stay. A lot of people are pissed off. I think she was the only woman in Faze. A lot of people are very pissed off and say, come on guys, why did you kick her and stuff like that. It is what it is, bro. There's loads of other people who got kicked, I know having the only woman in Faze, that can be like, woof. I do think they should have, some more women in Faze. Maybe Faze women would be, I don't know, I guess a cool clan to have. But it's unfortunate. It's how it is. I don't really want to see Faze end up like this. They've kept Faze Jev. It's pretty obvious why they've kept Faze Jev, and I'm glad they did. I'm not saying I'm not glad. He's probably he's probably the only Faze member out there who is actually pulling a good chunk of fucking views. Like, it's almost like he isn't Faze using him now. He isn't using Faze. Faze are using him. If all you have to do is take a quick look at his channel, and he's just pulling immense views. I think Faze Jeb, let's say below 21 hours ago, 100k views. He's pulled, like, for a channel that's Faze. Again, most of these, YouTubers, some videos he pulls 500k. Some videos he pulls this amount. He's pulling a good amount of views. He's probably pulling at least 1 million to 5 million views a month. Sorry. So he's doing quite fresh. He's doing very good, and I think that's a good thing. I'm glad. He's still keeping up with the content, and things are still going good for Faze in that sense. But it's obvious they've kicked a lot of the people who are just kind of there. They maybe, have done something big for Faze, like editing and stuff like that. They got rid of an old editor they had who edited a few clips for them, montages and stuff like that, which is a sad thing. To get rid of to get rid of someone big and, sort of in that sense. But it is an unfortunate moment, and hopefully these people who were in Faze, maybe can go on to another adventure, maybe join another clan, a Bay, or fucking, someone said they wanted to bring back Red Reserve, which I can't remember what happened to that, but yeah, it's it's how Faze is. It's literally favoritism. One of the best people always gets show the end of the stick. No, I think it's mainly, a lot of people are pissed off, but I think it's genuinely mainly views that people are pulling. It's an unfortunate thing, and again, like I said, Faze really hasn't been on a crazy hiatus in the fucking years. I'd say maybe since maybe 2018, I'm gonna say 2015 at least, or 2016. They've kind of not really been there. They've been thrown out. It's almost like Faze just doesn't really care anymore. They're just existing for existing. And I don't know, I hear that's because corporate and stuff like that, they were being bogged down by a bigger company that didn't let them have as much freedom and just used them for money and stuff like that. I don't entirely know if that's true or not, but it's a sad thing anyway. It's man, imagine dedicating that much. Like some of these members were probably in there since like 2011, 2010. So that's quite a big fucking thing. Imagine being in there, since then, and then you just get up one morning and you're like, oh, let's go. I think Faze Clan was made when they made the channel. It's a shame. It really is. I wanna see Faze strive. But I don't know. It's a very unfortunate thing. I really want to see it go well. I guess we'll see the future of Faze, and how well Faze does. It's one of them, man. I don't know. It must really fucking suck. Jeez, you wake up one morning and, something that you've built from the ground has now been, disappeared. So, yeah, it is what it is, Hopefully they can bounce back a lot of the people who are part of it or were part of Faze Clan and come back somewhere or another. But yeah, a lot of Faze as well. Some Faze members last year were having trouble with Faze and they left. Was it Faze Tico and Faze Rain? It looks like Faze Rain hasn't even made the cut. Which, again, was a huge member back then, a fucking huge member. But it looks like Faze is going full throttle on esports, like CSGO, Rainbow Six Siege, even FIFA I think they're going into, which you don't see a lot of people going into, which is, again, very cool to see that actually happen. Oh, man. It sucks, but it is what it is. It looks like they've gone for the people who are, pulling the views and doing well for them. So it must have been a hard choice, I'm going to say. I can't say it would have been a hard choice. Wouldn't have been a hard choice, but hey, it is what it is. Life goes on.